A fence company that's been taken to court is apologizing to some of its customers tonight for taking thousands of dollars in down payments without putting up the fences that were promised in a contract. We first told you last night about our investigation that revealed there was more than one customer taking Metro Fence to court. We continue our exclusive story tonight as we meet another homeowner who is still stuck with a temporary fence more than a year and a half after paying thousands of dollars to get that work started. The orange plastic temporary fence easily tumbles with a good gust of wind. It's unsightly. It doesn't meet town code. It's a symbol of frustration for homeowner Brian Brown.
I would expect them to put the fence in or refund my money.
The Browns talked with neighbors. They got multiple estimates. They had a written contract with Metro Fence before putting down a $5,000 deposit. That was in October of 2014. The fence never arrived. The Browns say Metro Fence kept the deposit.
What was your frustration as time went on that you didn't have your fence, and was that difficult to deal with?
It was extremely frustrating. It's been a year and a half of putting up with the temporary fence, not only an eyesore, but the time that comes along with it, trying to keep it upright and standing up, and the wind blows, it falls down. The time that I've spent, contacting the Better Business Bureau, the Attorney General, working with the sheriffs, emailing people, filling out forms, it's just been very unfortunate and very time-consuming.
Brian Brown says he spent countless hours trying to prod Metro Fence to do the work or give the money back. During that time, he did not know there were at least 4 other customers who had put down thousands of dollars in deposits for fence work they say did not get done. We dug through court records and discovered several small claims cases with judgments against Metro Fence. Each owner we talked with said communication with Richard Mullen and Metro Fence came to a halt when it was time for work to be done. When our calls were not returned, we went to Metro Fence in Altmar in Oswego County. A family member dialed Mullen's cell. He picked up. He explained Metro Fence is out of business. He gave a detailed explanation for how he got behind financially.
I know some of the customers that we've talked to said that they were frustrated they couldn't get a hold of you or talk to you about it or communicate with you about it, though, either.
Yeah, well, we try to communicate. You try to communicate with somebody and try and explain to them what they're happening, and they think you're lying to them all the time. So at a certain point, I'm not going to talk to them and tell them, the same story that I'm telling them, because I think I'm lying and making this up. This is what's happened, and I apologize for it, but this is what's happened, and we're trying to work through it.
By Mullen's own estimate, he owes 5 customers roughly $20,000 in deposits. He tells us he does not plan to pay them back. At least 2 customers raised this concern and complaints to the New York State Attorney General's office. Brian Brown received a form letter from the office saying, "I trust this information is helpful." It was attached to a promise from Metro Fence that they would install the fence when supplies were available. Brian received that information 1 year after putting his money down.
How could that be satisfactory that the guys had my money for a year? He was supposed to order the material when I paid him the money, and a year later he's still trying to get the material. To me, there should have been some more, hopefully, I was thinking that something else would be done there.
What could these homeowners have done differently? Metro Fence had a good word-of-mouth reputation before being sold to then-employee Richard Mullen in 2011. Brian Brown paid his $5,000 deposit with his American Express. He retrieved $4,000 back from Amex after pointing out his years as a trusted customer. He is now contracted with another fence company to do the work this month.
I'd be very cautious in the future to give anybody money up front before material showed up at my house or some work began.
We did reach out to the New York State Attorney General to see whether they would comment on the complaints filed against Metro Fence. Their press office told us they cannot comment on active investigations. They did urge any consumer with a concern to reach out to the Attorney General and file a consumer complaint. You can call 1-800-771-7755 to do that. You can also get that number by going to our web story about Metro Fence. We'll also link you to the Attorney General's site, and we have some tips for homeowners hiring contractors. That's at cnycentral.com.